Bloomberg Audio Studios.
Podcasts, radio, news.
Single best idea. We're out on YouTube podcasts, Apple Podcasts. It's growing. You know, we're doing a lot of other stuff as well. YouTube is front and center. Subscribe to Bloomberg Podcasts out on YouTube, where we've bundled everything together. Joe Weisenthal, Tracy Alloway, David Gura, and others. But subscribe to Bloomberg Podcasts. And out there, I'm getting comfortable with YouTube podcasts. I really like the way they lay it out. Is about conversation. Today was extraordinary conversation. We could do a half an hour, 45-minute single best idea. We're not going to do that. Let's start off at 7 a.m. Robert Stovall was legendary in my youth. Like literally the house would stop when Mr. Stovall came on. His son, Sam Stovall, has carried the torch forward with wonderful work at CFRA. They're acclaimed for 3-star, 4-star, 5-star stocks. On the duration, the persistency of this bull market, Sam Stovall, CFRA.
Well, it's done exceptionally well, up more than 50% in the first 2 years. And the third year of a bull market is actually pretty challenging. Of all 11 bull markets that celebrated their second birthday, the average 12-month gain in the third year was 2.2%. And that's because 3 of those 11 slipped into new bear markets before the year was out. 2 more posted declines, though not enough to be tagged as new bear markets. 3 more posted gains of 6% or lower. And only twice did we have, or 3 times did we have double-digit advances. So I would tend to say the odds favor a challenging third year.
Sam Stovall there with CFRA. We heard some other themes as well. Liz Ann Saunders with a little bit of that nervousness out there, but we talked a lot about all-time highs with our equity people today. Amy Silverman was just absolutely on fire over the derivative overlay, the signals from the 4 cross moments, if you will, into the equity market. To show you the process of surveillance, we're booking 24/7. And we book off the news. We book people days ahead, sometimes weeks ahead. But we had the tariff news here. And we just efforted out of Dartmouth College, the giant on free trade. Douglas Irwin, out of Columbia with Jagdish Bhagwati years ago, wrote a definitive book pushing 30 years ago called Against the Tide. It was so good then, it's still good now. I put it out on Twitter today. Can't say enough about Against the Tide. Late in our conversation with Professor Irwin, I talked about Robert Lighthizer, widely attributed with Trump trade practices. And Lighthizer, in the beginning of his book, is adamant about the collapse of his northeastern Ohio childhood. Here is Douglas Irwin with respect for northeastern Ohio and Robert Lighthizer.
I guess I would say 2 things. First of all, Ohio is not the U.S. economy writ large. The South has attracted a lot of manufacturing precisely because of the high-tax, anti-business attitudes of the Rust Belt states. And they've got to rethink how they compete and how they position themselves vis-a-vis other U.S. states, not relative to the rest of the world as well. And second of all, tariffs, which he's very much in favor of, are a very blunt instrument. They might help out certain steel producers in Ohio, but they have negative effects on steel manufacturers or manufacturers that use steel components elsewhere in the country. So it doesn't help out manufacturing overall. There's always a trade-off. You're going to hurt some and help others. And you got to be aware that, yes, you might want to help out those Ohio steel workers, but you have to worry about auto workers elsewhere, too, when their costs go up when you put on steel tariffs.
Doug Irwin of Dartmouth, what a program up there with David Blanchflower, the Tuck School and all, just some really good economics. Into the holiday week tomorrow, tons of economic data. We'll be doing that at 7 a.m. into the important 8:30 data as well. On your commute across the nation, our new distribution from 99.1 FM, Bloomberg 1130 in New York, 99.1 FM, I should say, in Washington, up to 92.9 FM in Boston, and on Apple CarPlay worldwide, Android Auto worldwide, and Sirius XM. And, of course, on YouTube, subscribe to Bloomberg Podcast. This is Single Best Idea.